Hey guys, for those who don't know, my name is James and I am a sports massage therapist who helps athletes with injury prevention and their sports rehabilitation. I am also a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu brown belt and fortunate enough to be able to train with some of the top level competitors in the sport through my profession. As you know, the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu also comes with their fair share of injuries due to the repetitive motions, overuse, and positions that we may find ourselves in. My goal of these videos is to share my experiences training with these athletes to show what a recreational jiu-jitsu enthusiast like myself is going through, along with my thought process when training with a competitor. I also thought it'd be a great idea to share my knowledge on injury prevention in the sport of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, as most of it comes down to education along with what to do and not to do during training. It's also great to show people the struggles and challenges that I personally have as a higher belt during training and how we have so much to learn regardless of our experience and belt level. In this video, I'll be commentating my role with one of my friends and judo instructor, Dainis Nguyen. Dainis is a judo and Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt and is the head instructor over at Team DNA. He is an avid competitor and is also a 21-time IBJJF champion. First off, for the purpose of the video, I've asked Dainis not to hold back too much so he can showcase how he effectively blends judo and jiu-jitsu together. I also wanted to show you the difference between a competitive black belt compared to a brown belt enthusiast like myself. Okay, let's get started. I've been training with Dainis for a number of years now, specifically to help me improve my stand-up and takedown game. Here we're simply fighting for grips, and he's controlling the grip battle here and pulls guard and into a beautiful triangle. But luckily I was able to pull my arms out. Here I feel I'm going for the no arm triangle, where he gets a really good grip on my back over here, and eventually gets a underhook on my left leg to eventually secure the no arm triangle. If you've never been no arm triangled before, just know that it's a very tight submission. We start again standing up, where he again dominates the grip battle. He is left-handed and I'm right-handed, and you can see he creates a really big off balance and goes for a beautiful foot sweep. He then goes for a stack pass where he elevates my hips and puts most of the pressure onto my neck and shoulders. If you have any pre-existing neck or shoulder issues, it's always a good idea just to concede and let the person pass. He then manages to take my back, but I was able to quickly spin out of it and back into an open guard situation. We end up in a little scramble and he tries to go for the back. He then places his left foot on top of my hips, which eliminates my ability to rotate in towards him. We eventually end up back in open guard, and I try to initiate a cross pant grip pass. Dainis has also caught me several times in the John Wayne sweep, so I'm being very cautious of him controlling my left sleeve over here. I try a long step motion here just to get out of half guard, but he manages to get his legs back in and creates some really strong frames. At this point I knew I messed up. I should have addressed the collar grip that he had. He manages to sweep me and into a loop choke. We start again on our feet and I try to go for a foot sweep, but was easily blocked by Dainis. I'm doing an okay job with the grip battle, but he manages to grab my lapel and I immediately feel some sort of threat and strip the grip right away. He then goes for the lapel grip again and baits me and gives me a false sense of security, and I manage to drop down to a single leg. I do manage to get a good grip here as well, but the choke was already in and I am forced to tap again. We then again start on our feet and I go for the same foot sweep and he blocks it again. Here we're fighting for the inside space with the collars. he is dominating the grip and eventually goes for the, I believe it's called the Kosoto, and takes me down. Another topic I'd like to talk about is how to be a good training partner. Even though Dainis is effortlessly taking me down, at no time did I feel any sort of pain or injuries, and he's actually controlfully lowering me down as well. Even though I'm not properly break falling, at no time am I feeling any sort of pains or aches during the roll. Here he manages to backstep and into side control. I managed to turtle for a brief second, and he goes for the Brado Plata and eventually ends up finishing it right here. I know in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu we often start on the ground, but I'm always making a conscious effort to start standing with Dainis. He dominates the grip exchange once again and goes for a well-timed Uchimata and eventually into a armbar. If you've never trained with anybody that does Judo before, it's a completely different game. The moment they grab you, you immediately feel some sort of threat, and you're literally seconds away from getting thrown. Dainis goes for an arm drag and eventually gets a body lock grip around my waist and into a back trip. He then passes my guard, and I am trying my best to create some sort of frame or distance between us. I managed to get a sleeve grip where I throw my spider hook in, just to create a little bit more space, and we eventually end up in a butterfly type situation. Here I'm trying to elevate him over me so I can pull myself into a modified X guard. I am trying to control his left leg here, but he does a really good job stripping my grip and breaking both my hooks, and we end up kind of in a weird bear trap like situation. During these leg lock entanglements, it's very important that you escape the knee line first to avoid any sort of unnecessary stress or damage onto the knee joint. The knee is considered to be a modified hinge joint. What that means is it does allow for a little bit of rotation, which can be a good or bad thing in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. Here we're fighting for inside space. I managed to sneak in my butterfly hook and eventually into a single leg X situation right here. He does a really good job controlling my right sleeve grip, and we end up in the same situation as before. At a higher level of Jiu-Jitsu, in my opinion, it's all about grip exchanging and grip breaking. If your opponent has stronger and more dominant grips than you, then there's a good chance he's going to be able to pass your guard or even sweep you. Dainis then goes for the knee slice pass, and I quickly recognize that, and I am trying to fight for inside space with my legs there. I do have very sticky hooks, so it can be very annoying, but he does a great job here to break both my hooks, and then I am forced to invert, and he goes for a back attempt right around here, but I do manage to create some frames and create a little bit more distance. He eventually passes me and goes and controls the far arm and eventually snakes in a wrist lock. We start again standing up, where he again controls the grip exchange and lands a beautiful Tominagi. I feel him going for the Kimura grip, where I try my best to defend, and he switches to the Toriko Plata and ends up getting the finish. Dainis starts with a cross collar grip, which is a very strong and superior grip in the sport of Jiu-Jitsu. Immediately I feel a threat, and I am doing my best to break that grip, as fast as I can, but he does a great job off balancing me. Once again, he goes for the cross collar grip. When he has that grip, I know he likes to go for the kochigari, where I'm trying to pull my leg back, but he times it perfectly and ends up with the seonagi. At this point of the roll, I am pretty gassed from all the stand-up. Dainis does some pretty cool fancy footwork here. I try my best to create some sort of frame to secure a guard, but he manages to get the same Barado Plata as before, and eventually ends up with the finish. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Please leave a comment down below and let me know who else you'd like me to train with. If you're looking for a Judo and or Brazilian Jiu Jitsu gym in the Toronto or Whitby area, feel free to reach out to Dainis on Instagram at teamdnabjj or visit his website at teamdnabjj.ca. Lastly, as you know, the sport of Brazilian Jiu Jitsu requires an adequate amount of mobility. A lack of mobility can cause other areas of the body to compensate and ultimately work harder, which can result in pain and or dysfunction. Our Jiu-Jitsu Prehab Mobility program is designed to help you build a stronger and more mobile body to allow you to train harder and longer without pain. It will help you with preventing injuries on the mats and promote longevity in the sport as well. Click the link in the description to enroll into the course now. See you guys next time.